Now we know that the Chinese government has removed this two-term limit for the Chinese president, which means President Xi Jinping could be in power for many, many more years. And the Communist Party in the last few years has not budged on their position around censorship and how that impacts some of these U.S. technology companies. If anything, they've only gotten more strict.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look that way. I think for a long time there was an expectation that China could not maintain the kind of censorship and controls that it has over the internet, but that's really changed in the past few years. Xi has imposed even stricter controls. You're going to see at the end of this month new controls going into effect on the internet companies that operate there that have to do with data sharing and government access to data. So they're moving in the opposite direction at this point, and that probably means that for Facebook and other companies that have hoped to get into this enormous market, their chances are very, very long at this point. So right now at the NPC, what we're seeing is the technology leaders in China are coming out and voicing their support for Xi and the Communist Party. They feel like the system that they have in place has worked very well, and why not? Tencent and Alibaba are now among the 10 most valuable companies in the world, and they're expanding. They're using that profit haven to expand globally at this point.
As you mentioned, the NPC, the National People's Congress, the annual meeting of Chinese communist leadership happening this week. There will be various tech CEOs, China tech company CEOs in attendance. What are you watching for, and what are the importance of these meetings and sort of showing face, if you will?
Well, the big news is going to be that they're going to remove term limits for the president so that Xi, as you mentioned earlier, will be able to stay in power for longer than the 2 terms that has been accepted up until this point. For the tech leadership, it's important to show their faces. They voice support for the administration. Pony Ma, the head of Tencent, came out earlier and he talked about the importance of integrating southern China and Hong Kong in particular. Many of the CEOs, including Robin Li at Baidu, talked about how he wanted to have his shares traded within mainland China. They trade in the U.S. right now. So they're sort of signaling their support for the Communist Party, and in turn that helps signal for more junior officials throughout the country that these guys are part of the political leadership.